live filming for Carolyn's Musings on YouTube and Etsy, and One Way Journals on Facebook. Warm welcome if you're a returning subscriber or if you've just stumbled across the channel. If you like this video or if you've seen us before, we would love it if you'd subscribe and press the like button. That always helps heaps. So what we've got today is, I'm calling it a fussy cut folio. So it's really easy and fun to do. The idea is actually from Victoria Designs, so that content creator. She's got a YouTube channel as well, and this is where I saw this idea of having a folio with flips, and she used it as a sticker book. So yes, you could definitely do that. I'm using mine for sort of fussy cuts and things like that, but it would be a great thing for your own storage. But if you wanted to do something extra special and you've got some friends who are also into paper crafting, etc., this would be fantastic as happy mail. Somebody would love to receive this if you gave them a whole bunch of fussy cuts or stickers or scripture labels. You could put scripture cards in there as well. So this is just how I'm sorting out my fussy cuts. So this one here is the vintage doilies. This one's a little bit different. I'm going to speak about this at the end of the video, how I've adjusted this one. But they have like flips in them like that. This one I've just literally finished, and I've realized the only thing I haven't done, look at this, isn't this gorgeous, this blue. I will tell you, and I will list all the measurements in the description box, as well as all the papers that I've used. This one here with this beautiful blue is called, the papers are from the Periwinkle Vellum set. So you'll see the blue featured in some of those envelopes. And then these ones here are from a devotional journal, so I'll link that one as well. There's green, pink, and a creamy color. So there's that, and I've just realized I haven't done my closure on these, so I need to go back and do that one. I literally just finished doing that. This one here, these papers are from the lace. There's a lace set of papers, so I'll put in that in the description box. So it's got this darker cream. There's so many pages in the kit. This lighter one that I've used as a background, and then it's got pinks and greens in it and stuff. So this is the one that I've done for the doilies. So just, and then there's vintage doily sets. That's a set as well. This one here I've called lace embellishments. This one is using the burlap and lace papers. So you'll see burlap, we call it Hessian here. And I've used this one for lace embellishments. So lace embellishments are part of the ephemera that you'll see I've added a pocket in the back of that one using this. So there's a kit called lace embellishments. They're gorgeous, so they look fabulous on the top of journal cards, bookmarks, pages. You could make them into hidden paper clips, etc. So I'm storing them all in this one. So that's called lace embellishments, and then the papers that I've used to make the envelopes are the burlap and lace. And then this is the one that I'm going to, so I've finished it, but we're going to go through the process of how I've made this one. So you can use whatever you want for your base. So I've got craft colored card on that one, but you'll see this one I've used white cardstock. And this one is called Stump Work Embroidery. So there is a kit here that Carolyn has got. I showed it in one of the last videos for autumn. It's gorgeous. It's got all these fussy cuts in it. So lots of autumn goodness and Thanksgiving goodness of fussy cuts in there with the stump work embroidery. And then there's this new paper that Carolyn has brought out, which is stump work embroidery paper set. So I've used that to make these envelopes here that flip, if you can see. And then there's a pocket and a belly band on that one at the back. And then there, look at these papers, aren't they gorgeous? And I particularly like that blue that's on there. Okay, so there's a lot to look at, and I've made quite a few versions of them because I thought they were so fun to do. So let's get into how to make these. Okay, let's make the base. So you're going to need 2 pieces of card. So I've got some craft coloured cardstock. Try and get the thickest cardstock that you can. Mine's not as thick as I would like, but it's the colour that I wanted. Now, you can print on your base. However, I suggest that you use some base card and then use printables over the top, and it will just strengthen it and just give your whole base and project a lot more strength. So what we've got is 2 pieces of card, and we need to cut them down. So I've actually made a template for my base so they can always remember to refer back to it. So the first piece, all of them are 6.5 inches high. So I can cut that down on the card first. And then this first piece is 8 inches length that way. This one is 5 7/8 of an inch that way. And then this one, of course, is 6.5 as well in the height, but it's 2 1/4 inches that way. I will put all the measurements in the description box, and but let me just cut those out now. So I find it easier just to get a ruler and my cutting knife. So what I want to do is cut down my pieces of card first, because I know the height is 6.5 on all of them. So I'm going to do that first, just measuring that up on my cutting mat. You might be able to find it easier if you've got a larger guillotine or paper trimmer. So I'll just speed through as I cut these down. So as I mentioned, that first one piece needs to be 8 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut that down to 8 inches. And then the next piece, this one was 5 7/8. So I can always use this for something else later. And then this spare piece here, knowing that's 6.5 high, I am going to cut this down to, it was 2 1/4. Okay, there we go. So let's grab our base pieces again, and we need to score them. So let's start with the biggest one. So this is the 8-inch piece, and we wanted to score this. I'm just double checking. On either side, our spines here are 1/2 inch on either side. So we have got, I'm probably going to find it easier to score. If you've got a scoring board, you might want to do it on that. I'm going to find it easier to do it on the right. So I'm just going to score 1/2 inch, and then at 1 inch. Okay, and then here we go, then at 1. So it's just easier for me to do it from the right. So it's 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch. So you're scoring at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. I'm going to do the same on the other end, but I'm just going to turn it around because it's easier for me to do it that way. And let's do that again. So we're scoring again at 1/2 inch and then at 1 inch. Okay. There we go. So we've got those. I can go ahead and fold those. Once again, and if you have a bone folder, might want to just make those very crisp. There we go. All right, so there's that one. Now what I want to do is actually just, so it's not too bulky, I'm just going to cut a little angle on just up to the first score line. Okay, so that's those. And then on this piece, we don't need to score this one, but what we might want to do is, so we've got, make sure that you've got it the right way up. So it's 6.5 high. These are our corners here. And so this is the one that's 5 7/8 this way. What we might want to do is round our corners. So this is the front cover. Okay, and then really easy, the last piece, this one we don't score either, but we get this one and we can round the corners on this one as well. You don't have to, but I just think it finishes it off a little bit better. Okay, there we go. All right, so as easy as it is, we grab this piece and we want to, this is our base, and so we want to put on the front cover. So we're just going to glue this piece here. Oops. And glue that piece down. I'm just trying to think. Do it this way and just make sure your round corners are to the right. And center that one. So just before the crease, not on the crease, because we still want it to be able to bend. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one here, we just need to, let's just burnish that down on that side. And this one here, we want to put, sorry, that way. So there we go. So if I flip it this way, I'm going to glue here and put this one here so the rounded corners are on the left. Oops, I pushed that glue up, but that's okay. There we go, and just burnish that down so that sticks really well. Okay, there we go. So there's that bit. Now I'm not going to decorate the cover just yet. I just want to prepare my envelopes for inside. So I have created a template, and you'll see why. It's going to be a lot easier for me to use off the template, so you might want to decide that. So let me show you the papers. So these are from the Stump Work embroidery paper kit. Just absolutely fabulous. So this requires 7 envelopes, but you can always change the measurements. If you don't want to put in 7, you don't have to. On this one, 3 envelopes fit on this side and 4 on this side, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. You might want to adjust your measurements if you're good at doing that and you've already got existing envelopes that you want to use. You could do that and have a play with it and measure it all up, but I'm going to show you how we do this with these envelopes. So I just want to show you the papers that I'm using first. So this one and this one, so fabulous. Okay, here we go. Lots of that autumn vibe that are here. This one's got more of a peachy flower with it. This one, just love this sort of like paper bark look. And then I printed this one twice actually, because I think I'm going to use this one for the cover. And then I printed this one twice because I want to use this on the inside. Now there's more papers. There's probably twice as many papers as this, but these are the ones that I'm printing to use for this project. I haven't printed on the back of these. These ones I did. Now on my computer I can reduce the opacity of them, so I've actually printed the same backing, but at 50%, because when you cut out the window, you will be able to see the inside of the envelope. If you don't mind, if this is just for you and you don't mind it being white on the inside and you can see through the window and it's white on the other side, don't worry about printing on the back if you're worried about the amount of ink, but I've just reduced it to 50% opacity on each of those, and so that's what I've done. But if you don't have that capability, you might, if you want to go ahead and print, you might want to use that one on the inside, or you might have your own wood grain or paper bark or pattern or something like that on the inside. Totally up to you. You can use whatever you want on the inside. Okay, so let me just go show you the first way to do this envelope. Now, I have shown this envelope before in a video. It was when we've used this flip envelope style in a journal where we put the bookmaker's letter in it, but I'm going to show you again how it's created. So what I'm going to want to do is cut off the white. My printer does that, so I have to cut off the white off the ends, but we need a piece that is 10 by 7 inches. So let me just cut that down now. Okay, so now that you've done that, go do that with all 7 pieces of paper, your 10 by 7. And then if it's directional, I don't think it really matters with this one, but I think this is the right way up. What we want to do is score up the top. Now, have I written it on there? I'm pretty sure it's 3/8 of an inch. Yes, so the top and the bottom, let's get that one out of the way. That's 3/8 of an inch. So we're just going to score that. There we go. Now I'm just going to fold that now. So you might want to do them in like in an assembly line. So you do all of them. It's up to you. You can do them one at a time or do all of them. So that's 3/8 of an inch top and bottom. And then what we want to do, sorry, I'm just trying to remember as we do this. So we want to score 3.5 inches to this first score line. So, you know, use your scoreboard if you want to do that. I'm just going to do it with a ruler here. So 3.5 inches from the left is the first score line. Okay, and then we want to make 2 spines at 3/8 of an inch each. So that next score line is going to be at 3 7/8. And then the next one is going to be at 4 2/8 of an inch. Oops. 4 2/8 of an inch. Okay, and then my last one is going to be at 8 1/4. Make sure this is still lined up. And then the next one here, 8 1/4. There we go. Now, if you find it easier to turn it around and score from the other side, this piece here is 1 3/4 of an inch. Don't want to confuse you, but if you wanted to turn it around, you would score from the left 1 3/4 of an inch. I just don't know how you're using a scoreboard or how you're using it. Okay, so now what I can do is I can fold these. Can't feel it for some reason. So 3.5, I know that's that one. There we go. Just make sure they all line up properly. I just don't want to crease it where it's not creased. And then it was at 3 7/8. It's a bit hard to tell when you've got pattern paper. And the next one was at 4 2, 4 1/4. There we go. So now I've got my folds. Okay. That's why I wanted to show you the template, because it's a little bit easier to see here where I folded them. Okay, now what we can do is we want to cut the window before I snip off the edges here. So the window, so what you want to do is your shortest piece here, we want to cut a window out of this panel here. All right, so there's the shortest piece on the right, and then we're going to cut out this window here. Now I've created a template, so I would advise to do this on a piece of card. This section here, so when we fold it, you can see this section here and the score lines. The score lines, we want to cut and measure a window that is 1 inch from the top, the bottom, the left and the right, okay? And then rule and make yourself a rectangle and then cut it out. So that's what I've done. So just using my cutting knife, I've actually been able to keep the window, so I can actually use that to make some tags as well out of this printable. What I found is easiest to do it on the cardstock and then take it over to here, making sure I've got it on the right side. There we go. I'm putting it on the reverse because it's easier for me to see with the print than it is on the other side. And then we want to get our pencil, and I can now, instead of having to measure 1 inch from on each piece, I can just do that there. So now I can see where that's meant to be, and I can go and cut this out. So I'll just speed through as I'm cutting this out. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to release a tab for this part. So when you have a look, we've got the short edge here on the right, short edge here on the right, and this section here is where we want to release the tab. So when you've got the score line here on the right, you want to cut a little angle there, and then this first one here, you want to cut an angle there. Okay, and then we're going to cut away these sections. All right, so it's a bit hard to see. I'm just wondering if I should ink it. So I'm just cutting up to that score line. Okay, and so if you see, we can fold that there, we can cut this straight, and then this one. If you can't see it that well, you might want to fold and ink it so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, and then let me fold this so you can see me do this. There we go, and we're just going to cut straight up like that. Okay, and then this one here. There we go. Okay, this top flap, I like it with rounded corners, so this little short top one, I'm just going to round the corners there. And then I am going to ink around the edges. Okay, if you like the inked look, don't forget to ink around your window here and then maybe the inside of the top flap there. Now before we glue this envelope together, we want to put some acetate or transparency film, or you could put some see-through vellum, or sometimes those plastic sleeves in file folders. If you've got a bunch of those, use whatever you've got on hand. So I'm going to go grab a piece of that. So like I said, you could use a piece of vellum. There you go. So that's what that would look like. But I'm going to use some transparency film. And so I'm just going to cut down a piece that will fit this window. we go. So you might want to cut all 7 pieces together and do it sort of like in a construction, but I'm just going to show you this first one. And then what you can do is you can use tape around the edge if you prefer tape. This art glitter glue works really well. If you don't have art glitter glue, I'd probably suggest to use some double-sided tape. If you have problems with your glue sticking, yeah. Definitely not a glue stick. I don't think that would be strong enough. All right, and then we just want to put that around the window there. You just want to make it, you know, maybe 1/4 of an inch around, because if the glue seeps, you want it to sort of catch within there, but you don't want to make it too wide. All right, and then what we then have is our envelope ready. And so we can glue down these sides and stick this piece up here. Now what we want to do is make sure that we have one fold here, then the middle fold, and then another fold. We want the middle fold to be at the bottom of the envelope. Okay, and then we want to glue this. Now here, when you cut these edges, it comes up to about here. I prefer mine a little bit steeper. So what I'm going to do is come back and just make these top ones, I'm going to release them a little bit steeper. Okay. Whatever way you find it easier to cut. There we go. All right, now that's ready for me to put some glue on the edges here. Right, and then as I said, make sure it's on the middle fold on the bottom of your envelope. Oops. And then just make sure that's stuck down really well and very flat, because you don't want your envelope to pucker. Okay, and there we go. So we have our first envelope. Now you will see, because that was there, this is why we've got those score lines there, because this is the flat for our envelope so that we can flip the envelopes. Okay, so that's there. Now I'm going to go and do all the other ones and then come back to you for the next bit. Right, let's look at putting this together. I finished all of my envelopes, so they're all here ready to go. And what I've done is I've already sort of cut down some little strips and just put them, oh, I haven't done this one here, so I've just put those on. But now what we want to do before we put the envelopes on is we want to decide what our closure is going to be. So I've just stuck a magnet here and I've just put a pen mark there, so when I pressed it there, it showed me where to put this magnet, and I just sort of measured the center, top and bottom as to where that was going to go. So alternatively, if you don't have magnets, what you could do is before you put on the inside here, you could put some ribbon. You could put an eyelet and some ribbon and wrap it around, or you could put a Velcro dot here. Once you put your cover on, you could put your Velcro dot and one over here as well. So you would do that after you put these pieces on. But because I'm using the magnets, I've put those down first. And so what I've done is cut my panels from my inside and my outside. So I might do my inside first. And all you have to do is cut the same side, the same pieces as your base, but just make them about 1/4 of an inch smaller, and so that you've just got a bit of a border around the edge and just rounded the corners here. So I'm just going to go glue those down now. Magnets are quite strong, and I didn't realize I probably needed some stronger glue and my magnet came off. So I'm actually going to need to let that dry before I put on this other panel. So I'll go do that and I'll speed through, and then on my cover what I've got are the same pieces again. So I'll just glue those on. That's the back piece. This one will go on here. So I have to come back and do that one. Let's put this one down. So once you've put your panels on, then what we can do is, now that we've got our finished envelopes as well, that one I can see probably just needs a bit more ink just there. Just make sure you're all inked up and happy, and then you can choose 4 envelopes that can go on this side and 3 that can go on this side, whatever order you want to put them in. So it's really easy. All we need to do is glue this flap down here onto the base there, and then we'll just layer them like they're a waterfall. So I'll just speed through. I'll show you just this first one, and then speed through as I glue them all down. Okay, so the first one just lines up like that. Okay, and press down firmly. Make sure that's stuck down really well, and then just fold. Make sure that you've got a good flippity flap there. Okay, so that's that one, and then the next one, we glue again just on that section, and then we butt that one up against this one here, like that. Just, yep, try and make sure they're all lined up. It's a bit hard for me to see, but it's okay. And just firmly press that one down. And then fold, make sure we've got a good crease in there, and then just keep going. So I'll do that now. It looks like the lip on this one is a little bit wider than the envelope, so I might go back and just chop that one down. So sometimes that's just because we're doing homemade envelopes, and so even though we've measured them the same, they might just come out a little bit differently. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. We like to strive for perfection, but we go with it when things don't always line up. And then this one we can glue down with the 3 that go that way. You can either start from the top, or you can start from the bottom and line it up with that one, which is what I might do. The last one I did it the other way and came in a little bit, but let's do this. Okay, so that's all flipped, fits in perfectly, it closes really well. So what I need to do now is have some little closures on each of these envelopes. So you'll see in this one, I have just done little circles here, and just glued down this part here, and then left that open, and then they tuck in under there. So I might do the same thing. I'll just find what little sort of prints and things that I might want to do. I might want to do some little seals or something that go along there, and I'll also decide what I want to put on my front cover, and then come back to you, and then we can fill all of the pockets in with all the fabulous ephemera. So I'll come back to you shortly. So what I've done is I've just made some little closures, and these were just some sort of faux wax seals that I had in my own stash. But if you don't have anything like that, you could use the Fussy cuts as just glue it down half of it and leave the top bit open for your flap. So you could use your Fussy cuts or your spare pieces of paper. Like from the windows that you used there, you could cut out, if you've got a circle punch, you could cut out some of those and you could use those as closures. So there you go. So that's what I've done with that. And then on the front, I just added some hessian here, and then one of the Fussy cuts, I just enlarged it to make it a little bit bigger, and just made a little label that said stump work embroidery on the top, so that clicks closed there. All right, so the last thing I wanted to add, and this is optional if you want to do this, I added a pocket. Now this one, and this was from the second print that I used for this inside panel here. So just use your offcuts or whatever you've got. And so this one, I've probably made it a little bit wide to get things in and out. So I'm going to use one of these bags just to pop in there, and if there's anything I need, I can easily pull it out. So because I made it a little bit wide, I've actually made a little belly band that you probably can't tell is there. But the offcuts from the windows, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put those in underneath this belly band here, and they're going to be there so when I pull these out, they're a base that I can layer up and use to make some tags. So they will sit in there, and then just to create a simple pocket, I'll do one on this side. So what I've done is just cut a strip, this one a little bit narrower, and then just, you know, approximately I eyeballed it, maybe 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch. Just score around the top, the bottom and the side and fold those down. And then what you want to do is miter the corners just to get rid of that bulk. So I'll do that now. So this is the easiest way to make pockets. There we go. And because I did print all my envelopes on 160 GSM, so it's sort of lightweight cardstock, it's quite thick paper, there's some sturdiness to it for a pocket. And then I want to make a notch, so I'll just quickly fold that together to find the center there. And then with my bigger hole punch, I do need to stick something in underneath or it won't punch properly, and just cut a notch there like I did with the other one. Sorry, that was a little bit loud. And then I want to ink around the corners, and there we go. I can just glue down the flaps in just a sec, and that will be another pocket there. So, you know, you can put extra fussy cuts in there, or you can put some small tags ready to go. Gosh, I love this paper here with that hint of blue in it, and so that's why I've chosen the blue butterfly seal to go on there. It's so gorgeous. The print is just beautiful. So I'll quickly just glue this. Okay, so I don't have any more of this paper printed off, so I'm not going to do a belly band or anything on it, but that's created another pocket there. So there we go. This one's all finished. And I'm really happy with, but it's pretty full because there were so many ephemera bits in this stump work embroidery. So there are some more embroidery pieces that Carolyn has done over several kits. So I might add an extra pocket at the back and put some of those in there. I might even make a whole new one, but I've got a pocket in there to put some of those in there. So that's all good. And then just again, I've just finished a couple more of these. So yeah, I'm really happy. The vintage doilies, the lace one, embellishments and scripture labels that I've done in there. This blue is gorgeous. And I just wanted to point out this one. So they're all the same size. However, I did for the, no, it's not this one. It's the doilies one. So this one, I adjusted it because I wanted the envelope to be 1/2 inch wider. So the base is exactly the same, but you can adjust it. You don't have to put 7 envelopes in. So this one, instead of 3, I've got 2, and instead of 4, I've got 3. And that's because I made the envelopes 1/2 inch longer. For this section here was, so the measurement that was on here, I just added 1/2 inch, and that's so that I could fit in some of these wider doilies into it. So have fun. I would love to see if you give it a go. Comment down below, and if you're on the Facebook group, we would love to see any pictures and what you create. You know, have fun with any of the different types of papers and themes that you might want to have fun with. Okay, God bless you all. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.